I've written some of this stuff in my memoir. That's why I brought my book, but it's a condensed version. And this may seem redundant after Alice, but it's titled None of This Would Have Happened If Not for the Girls. Okay. What's going on? Should I hold the mic or what? All right. I'll do just like I used to sing into the microphone. Okay. None of this would have happened if not for the girls. It's not just guys starting a band so they can meet girls. You've heard that before. It's deeper than that. In the beginning, there was Eddie and me. Eddie Munoz, a great guitar player and performer, and outrageous character. We had a band called Jelly Roll, a glam rock blues band. Like a lot of people in our world, we just wanted to be the Rolling Stones. That's it, really. Eddie and I, however, might never have met, but our girlfriends forced us on each other. We would be out at clubs, preening like rock stars, pretending we didn't notice the other guy. Eddie's girlfriend was Carla Olson, a great guitar player and singer who looked like Joni Mitchell, only better. One night at the Armadillo, Diane went to the bar, then suddenly she comes back with Carla and Eddie. Carla says, "You guys need to meet. You need to start a band." So we started a band, we hit it off, and that was that. Then one night we're at Mother Earth, and these two young rock and roll chicks come up to us and say, "Hey, are you guys in Jelly Roll?" They recognize us. That's cool, right? And the redhead turns out to be, her name is Kathy Valentine, and her dark-haired friend is Marilyn Dean. Later we learned that Kathy is 16 years old and Marilyn is 16. The doorman at Mother Earth was kind of slack. Kathy says, "Hey, what year is your precision?" "It's a 63. She says, "Oh, cool, pre-CBS." Well, that's musician talk. We were very impressed. Turns out she plays a 63 Strat, though. Marilyn says, "It's my birthday. I got a drum kit for my birthday. We're starting a band." It was so unusual. This is 76, 77. It was rare for women to be playing rock and roll in those days. We got to be friends, we hung out, and they were very good at hanging out. Kathy was also, besides being like a total rock and roller, very, very funny. She always reminded me a lot of like Lucille Ball. I mean, she was hilarious. We bonded over punk rock. Kathy and Marilyn played some gigs, but then in the fall of 77, Marilyn, Carla, and Kathy were starting an all-girl punk band called the Violators. They couldn't find a girl bass player. Would I be interested? Jelly Roll had broken up, so why not? Rehearsals were fun, loud, and beer-soaked. We played a lot of covers, and I wrote a couple of originals for them. Give Me Some, you might recall. Every practice, Eddie was there, and during breaks, he and I would jam. We thought, hey, this is great. Why don't we start a punk band? The Violators needed an opening act. We recruited our friend Billy Blackman on drums, and after one too many beers one night, we came up with a name, the Skunks. We had gigs coming up. People would yell, "You stink," it pissed me off at first. It didn't occur to me that was going to happen. 6 years later, when they're still doing it, like they just started up, it was really annoying.
I heard that one.
Yeah. So the first punk rock show at Raoul's was in January, just a week after the Sex Pistols. This was the raw beginning, So this happened to be my first date with Lois. Long story short, she's my wife. She's right here, right? Well, she's another woman who made all this happen. Kathy Valentine introduced us. Lois was hot and super cool. Sparks flew. She had lived in New York, saw the Ramones and Blondie at CBGB, saw Blondie in London, I was very impressed. I had to work hard to show her how cool I was. Lois is the one who told me to cut my hair. I was pretty proud of my Keith Richards shag, but she said, if you're going to be playing in these cool bands, you don't want to look like a hippie. She's tough. I said, she is tough. Always has been. So I cut my hair. When the Skunks were playing at Raoul's for a $1.50 cover, all these guys were trying to slip through saying, hey, I'm a friend of the band. So Lois took over the door after that with a sign that said, friend of the band, support them, $2 a cover. We made more money that way. I'd like to read a couple of paragraphs about the first Violators show to give an idea of what it was like in '78. This is out of my memoir. That's why I said I'd read it. I'm, still reading, right? Sorry. I should have expected the Skunks after the Skunks set, but there were a lot of freaky reactions to the Violators. You'd have thought the girls were naked. From the opening chords of the Pistols, Pretty Vacant, people clustered around the stage. Fights broke out for no reason. Things kept getting weirder. The people who really hated us didn't seem to care if we were playing the Sex Pistols or Chuck Berry. They hollered and insulted us just as loudly. You guys suck. Show us your tits. Several creeps were already hanging by the dressing room door. Before the night was over, we'd have to enlist Joseph and Bobby to expel the wannabe groupies who didn't seem to understand the word no, or even the more explicit, get the fuck out of here. Apparently, some guys assumed that any girl who played in a rock band would jump at the chance to have sex with anything on two legs, anytime, any place. The girls were amazingly good sports about it, though. The more tasteless and naive the proposition, the more they laughed. Every night I played with the Violators. Some dude without a clue would come around and say to one of my bandmates, hey, y'all play pretty good for girls. Almost exactly 2 years after that first gig, I got a call from Kathy in Los Angeles. She told me excitedly, but in a modest, you're not going to believe this, tone, that she had just joined a band. They were called the Go-Go's. She was playing bass. They had a record deal. Before long, she was collecting royalties on a platinum-selling record and living the life of a genuine pop star in L.A. I'm sure you're familiar with Kathy's other achievements. She wrote a memoir, too. And Carla hasn't done too badly either. Lois and I lived in L.A. last year, and during that time, among other things, Carla produced 3 new albums, including the new Jake Andrews instrumental guitar feast. Pretty good for girls, yeah.